Let's start then populating the values for, let's say, IFC walls on a schedule. In order to get that done, we first need to activate the IFC property. And the best way to do that is by using the IFC project manager. So let's go into File, Interoperability, IFC project manager. And once it's refreshed, now we're going to have to select, let's say, for the sake of our example, all the walls in our project. Now, it's hard to select them here from the list because there are going to be too many of them. You could argue it's not a bad idea to select them down here from the types. That can be also an option. But an easier option is simply by doing a selection right there on the model, for which I'm going to use the Find and Select tool. So once you have the tool available, simply go for all types and then add to it the IFC and IFC type. So let's just click on IFC type and add. Once it's done, let's go back into the list and choose IFC wall. And then click on plus to select all the elements that have been classified as walls. Bring back the IFC project manager. Notice that you don't have to close it, you just have to move it away. And now use the Show Model Selection in List. Once the elements are selected, then you can proceed to the right-hand side. Scroll down, and then let's tick the box for the properties that we want to include. That'll be the type ID and the program block for now. Let's now go ahead and close it. And now let's proceed to create a schedule just to manipulate those two parameters from a single schedule view. To do that, let's go to the schedules on your project map on the right-hand side and simply do a right-click, New Schedule. In this case, we're going to start by creating a schedule with the ID IM for information management. And let's call it IFC Properties Walls. Now, this interface will be divided in two. On the top, you have the criteria or the different criteria list that you will use to filter in and out the elements that we're going to include in this schedule. And then down here, we have all those fields that we want to include in the list of the schedule. That is the property values that we decided to include. So let's go start with the criteria. So we want to bring all 3D types, but only those. And then you click on Add Criteria with a classification of walls or within the branch of walls. So let's click on the right-hand side, search for wall, and let's choose the generic, like so. We also want to exclude those walls that came in from the hotlinks. So let's add another criteria, and this is going to be hotlink and hotlink module. And by default, it adds any elements from any hotlink. So let's do the opposite. So let's exclude by saying is not any hotlink. Now down here, we're going to filter include certain fields like the building material or composite. That's going to give us the wall type. So let's type in building material, and then you should be able to get general parameters, building material, composite, or profile name. Let's click on that. Let's close this and look for the IFC properties, which are located on the drop-down arrow on the right-hand side of Add Fields, and choose IFC properties. Now let's filter this by the active preview translator and the IFC type that we want to affect. In our case, IFC wall. Now, if you want to, you can filter this out. So I'm going to type in Zig and enter, and that's going to filter out the property sets that I'm looking for. Now let's bring in both program block with the control key and type ID and click on add. So now we have those two there on that list. Let's go ahead and click on OK. And then to open it, let's go into the schedule elements and simply double click in the schedule we just created. So the first time, the list might be all piled up. So we just need to arrange this, and that can be done manually by double clicking on the tab on the top, or you can click on this top left button, and that's going to allow you to automatically resize the columns and resize the rows if you need. So now I have a list of all the elements we have in this file, not from hotlinks, and you have the two values, the program block and the tab ID. And you will be able to type in any values right from there. Also notice that the list will include every single instance of an IFC wall, where what we want is to do a bulk typed in of information. So we need to click on merge items here on the top left, and now the list will be reduced to one record of each of the wall types. From here, then what you can do is select one of these rows, like PP01, and then you click this button, which will select the elements in the 3D window. And opaque selection, you can go to the settings, scroll all the way down, and then add or modify the values on the Manage IFC properties, like so, and then add the values directly here, like so, or placing them directly in the preview of the wall selection settings. Once you click on OK, you can go back to the schedule, and now you'll see the values right here. Now, currently, it is not possible to edit the values when they are merged, but if you unmerge, then the values should be editable from the schedule. We will use the schedule to double check the values on the items, and later on we use them to populate the values from an external source.